G'day and welcome to the 57th episode of the Destiny Down Under podcast. This week we talk to the Kell of Pigs himself, AnonPig. We talk about our impressions, what we got out of the Curse of Osiris expansion, and everything else that's happening in the Destiny community this week. Cheers! G'day and welcome to the 57th episode of the Destiny Down Under podcast. My name is Log Power Slave, and as always I am joined by Mylan to the left of me and Slothy down below. And this week, we have a very special guest. He does have a disgusting mustache, much like mine, and I'm very appreciative of that. He's the Kell of Pigs. You may know him as AnonPig, or whatever the fucking festive bullshit he's got in his name on Twitter at the moment. What is it? Curmudgeonly AnonPig? Curmudgeonly?
Like the opposite of festive.
Yeah, well, that's what you do, man. That's what you do. Welcome to our humble podcast. I'll go around the arc. We'll talk about everyone. Everyone's going to get their chance to speak. First, we'll start with Matt. Matt, how are you? How has your week been since announcing that you will be stepping away from Twitch? I nearly said Twitter. All that.
So my God, I think now that I've had that time back, just like the going from making a video to the very next day streaming, and then making a video and then streaming the next day, I think just wears you out. And like this week I've just been able to sleep in because I normally get up quite early to start the stream for the US side of things. So I feel like, man, I've got energy back, and I actually feel like energized to write Destiny lore scripts and make videos, and I feel less stressed. It's been really nice. And I had another forced holiday, so you'll notice I'm not in my office as
Mylan Games on location.
It looks like you're still standing though.
Yeah, no, well, my friend was setting up his house.
There are no chairs.
Yeah, we don't have. We either sit on kangaroos or wombats if you want to be lower to the floor because they're more stable, or you stand. And he came around my place and he saw my setup with a standing desk, and he's going to start working from home. He's like, "Dude, I want that." So it's literally like my identical setup in his home.
Can confirm Mylan Games is setting up franchises in Western Australia. There we go.
Yeah. This is my remote filming location in Australia.
Nice.
But no. To answer the original question, feeling really good. I had my brother over, my twin brother. He brought his gaming laptop over, and we just played Osiris on the day of release. And I didn't worry about pumping content out. I just enjoyed it, and we just got through and just sort of try to take it easy, which I think was probably pretty needed this week, which I'm sure we'll get into later.
Rightio. Sloth, how you been, brother?
Yeah, going all right. Played through the campaign fully once thus far. Really enjoyed it. I really enjoy the campaign. This week has been a bit sort of skew with migraines and internet issues and tech issues and all that sort of good pish. But it's definitely been a very news-filled and very interesting week, to say the least, my friend.
Do we get anything else in Destiny at the moment, man? There's like
all right. Oh no, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do my piece now.
Hang on.
And then
And
then
we'll
Anon
say
can have his
hello to Anon
moment
first. We can
Hi,
just
Anon.
talk to him.
Hi.
Anon, how are you? Are you well?
I'm well.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. What have you been up to?
I mean, this week I've been up to playing Curse of Osiris, and then really loving it up front, and then sort of looking at it under a microscope. Still loving it. It's just the lore sort of hurts.
Oh,
and
so
then
bad.
today, just as you guys know, the stress of getting here.
Yeah, it's I mean, if you're watching this live, you probably noticed that we're 2 hours late. It's just been one of those weeks where nothing really lined up, and everyone's got a busy weekend on, and we're just doing our best. So it might be a little bit shorter this week. If that's a huge problem for you, you really need to assess your priorities. Because half an hour less of us talking shit isn't going to change your life, right? So just get stuck in.
It changes a lot for me, although I can't listen to this episode at all because I'm on it. I'm not going to listen to myself talk. But that half hour is a big difference for my podcast listening, where like I need as much as I can get because I'm always running out.
Well, we'll try and ramble more in the future, just for your benefit, man.
Thank you. Like, I am the center of the universe. You should.
Yes. Well, anything we can do to appease the Kell of Pigs. Right, Sloth, go.
Right, so with the release of fucking Curse of Osiris, which, again, I really am enjoying it. Even the fucking Death laser tag trials that's just starting today, that is fine, and I don't want it. And we'll get back. We will get back in. We'll talk more about that later on. But the thing that really has me frustrated, and I know that they have somewhat addressed this, however, it should never have happened. So in Australia, Destiny 2 cost $100. So you go out.
What?
Purchase.
Yeah,
that's
$100.
Australian dollars. Australian
It's
dollars.
like
that
Monopoly
like
money.
that's right?
Yeah, that's
That's 60 US.
Okay.
So it was $60 US, $100 Australian. And with the release of the Curse of Osiris, half, if not most, 80% of the end game is locked out. If you do not have,
if you don't get,
if you do not have the expansion pack bought and downloaded, all right. So basically, they being Activision and or Bungie have come to this decision, have locked people out who have already paid for the base game, and they've locked people out of the end game content, i.e., Prestige Raid, Prestige Nightfall, Trials, and the Heroic Strike playlist. Yes.
Okay.
Now,
Well, the Heroic Strike playlist is new. Like, I do agree with your point, but that is a new one.
Yeah,
it is new. You are absolutely correct. However, motherfuckers, Bungie and Activision, whoever came up with this plan, it's wrong.
Yeah,
It's
I
wrong.
agree.
And you,
Okay.
hang on. There's like, it's the same across all console, all platforms. It is the same across all platforms, whether it's PC, Xbox, or PlayStation. And if you are not working and you don't have the extra $20 to buy it, or B, didn't buy it to begin with, i.e., like this idiot, and actually was very lucky that his community, chipped in and got it for him, or C, if you're underage, still at school, and your parents won't fork out for it, that kind of leaves you in the lurch now, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty fucking ordinary to have such a big initial investment be kind of squandered by the fact that you haven't bought the incremental DLCs. It's probably worth noting at this point that a lot of Destiny 1 content was much the same, be that right or wrong, but there were differences. This is more aggressive than it was then, and the more I think about it, the less I'm impressed by it. But Matt, you wanted to say something before?
Well, yeah, it's Log. I was gonna bring up that. I was just gonna start a conversation like, what? This is not new though. This happened in D1, right? We had, within the Taken King came, didn't the level cap rise and you could only get to that with the Taken King? Look, I can't remember, but
You were level 20 if you didn't have Taken King. Taken King got you to 40 though.
When did Trials start? Was that House of Wolves?
House of Wolves.
House of Wolves.
Yeah.
House of Wolves. All right. So when it first happened, when the Dark Below came out, you couldn't do the Dark Below campaign. You couldn't get the level increase and all that. This is before light level and all that sort of thing. This was just base level. You couldn't get the level increase or anything like that, but you could still go and do Vault of Glass. You could still do the Heroic Strike playlist, except for the
Will of Crota.
Yeah, that one. It's like I said, it's double dipping, it's slimy, and it's disgusting behavior. And if anyone from the head sheds of Bungie, I know that you've addressed it, but you fucked up, and please don't do it again. I'm not forgiving you for this. I'm not losing my shit over it. I'm not going to yell at a camera at it because that's just not professional in any way, shape, or form. But it's.
I think all of us here,
fucked
right?
up.
I think the
It's
thing is,
fucked
all
up.
of us sitting here on the podcast we gave them the benefit of the doubt with the EXP thing, right? We all went, look, okay, they say it's an issue they were working on before that, and we went, all right, and then they fixed it, but really they addressed it when the community called them out. This is much of the same thing, that at least it feels like to me, and that there's been fucking uproar, so now they're going, oh shit, well, we need to backtrack. Like, I don't know. I mean,
So,
that's just
look,
me being
there's a
cynical.
couple of things I want to.
Yep.
There's a couple of things that I want to be. Go on, Anon. You're the guest, man. Guess first. Go on.
I just want to say, like, I completely agree with you. It's not okay to, especially Prestige Raid, I'm kind of like on the fence about, but things like Trials, I was unaware that you're locked out of that if you don't have the DLC. That is fucked up.
Wait. You can't, because of the maps they added?
You can't do trials.
That's not okay.
Yeah,
Is that
I
because
assume it's because
PvP
of the
maps were added
Yeah, I assume so.
for Curse of Osiris?
And now we have the Osiris quick play and Osiris competitive, which I can't fucking go in because it's always distant shore and I'm sick of it. That wasn't even an Osiris map. That was but either way, I do think that I think it's important to note that they've sort of displayed that they understood our upset about that, because the Prometheus lens is being sold by Xur this week, and even if you don't have this expansion, even if you don't have this DLC, you can buy it, you can use it. This
Really?
weapon
I did not know that.
Yeah. Normally, as weapons would go, if you don't have it, you can't get it. You wouldn't be able to buy from Xur. But no, this week, and the most overpowered, like arguably more overpowered than the Vex in its prime gun, is now yours. Go buy it.
Have you guys been on the wrong end of it yet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It is a hollow feeling, Matt. Let me tell you, it doesn't feel nice.
Hold on.
So moving away from the negative
Matt's got a point he wants to touch on first.
Sorry,
and then we'll get back
Matt,
into just talking good
So,
shit.
all right. I want to play devil's advocate because I think that's always a good thing with the podcast to try to see it from another point of view. And I guess one way to think about it is when you pay for a DLC, you want to see a significant change. And I think what people are upset about is they didn't make it significant enough, and the foundation of what you pay for was then removed, right? It was the act of removing the base foundation game.
Yep.
And then transferring that foundation to a DLC to get re-access it. That's not okay. But think about this: if there wasn't enough change and you pay for something, like I think the light and gear is a weird one, right? Imagine if you pay $20 for a DLC and you don't get a level up in light, or the gear doesn't feel better. You would also feel ripped off, right? From the flip side of the coin. So like the DLC has to bring some attractiveness to it. But I think the thing is like, okay, you pay $60 for a foundational game. That should still be, the foundations of that should still be playable regardless of the time frame, regardless of DLC releases. And I didn't realize about Trials, like removing a foundational mode that shipped with the $60 game is completely inappropriate, I think, especially because it's end game content. I think the grayest area is like light level caps and that kind of stuff, because I think you need to have that in DLC. You need. I mean, imagine paying $20 and not getting an increase in light.
Yeah,
but you don't need the progression if you're not moving forward either. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
so I think
ultimately a carrot. We did nothing's really fucking changed. We're just working to get back to end game level again.
And the only other thing I want to add is about the XP. So Big Grizzly had some really good advice. I don't know did you guys listen to the podcast with Noseworthy and Luke Smith on and actually address that? I think I'm so on the fence with. You got to say that they're telling the truth when they're like, we never intended that. However, okay,
you got to take them in at their word, but there seems to be evidence to the contrary, right?
Well, right, okay. So with the XP stuff and with the UI display not showing what it should show, and it was quite untruthful, right? you go and you hear them talk about it and all the logistics, and like, this is not an excuse, but just to give you an idea of all the logistics to change stuff and do things and that and coordinating teams. My major rebuttal was, you had 3 years to get it right. Okay, you're not the baby anymore. Like, everyone was tolerant because you were inventing this genre as you're going along, and the standard has increased, and we expect that with that, you don't fucking make UI mistakes that revolve around XP that is linked to microtransactions and engrams, which is part of endgame content. That's a fucking rookie mistake. That's a year one, month one mistake. So, there's that. And then the second part of it is you've got Bungie saying, we didn't really have that. But then we see ads that, so there's Bungie's advertising for a senior designer, and pretty much their job description is all around bright engrams and player progression, and it's pretty brutal, the wording. I can pull it up if we need to, but you've got that too. So you've got these like two. Is it gone? They removed it.
Yeah, they took it
from
down.
From what I've heard, they already took it down.
I mean, but seriously, who the fuck would put that up? Why would you put
now
that up?
of all fucking time?
The house is on fire, and someone's just come along with a fucking bucket of gasoline and chucked it on. Why?
This is fine.
Why?
This is fine.
Anyway, that's yeah. So I think it's weird. I don't know. Is this the overhand of like Activision just having way too much influence? Is like Bungie? What is happening here? I don't know what to do.
This is the point. Like we don't know. We don't know. We don't know if it is Activision, throwing their large ass around and trying to push Bungie around and bully them into whatever. A valid point was raised last night, or at least on my stream, that was what's going to really kick Bungie and Activision into gear is some goddamn competition.
Yep.
Is some goddamn competition. So as much as the four of us, we love Destiny, we will be as hard on it as we feel so inclined, but we're also not going to go, on Bungie and all that sort of thing, because that's just not on. That's just not on. Like if you're gonna like talk about the issues of the day, talk about the issues of the week, talk about how they can improve, and like actually bring some damn community into the game, and not be the cause of so much salt and hatred and all that sort of thing. But I mean, I am also looking forward to Anthem, because Anthem is going to, from the looks of things, Anthem is going to kick Bungie's ass unless they get into gear.
I think EA's behind that too. But look, so I completely agree. As some competition, right? And this is the thing. I think Destiny is probably to a deficit propped up by the community of YouTubers and streamers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think the longevity of the game has been prolonged and accelerated from YouTubers and streamers. And if another game, competition-wise, makes for an entertaining stream or makes for entertaining YouTube content, and people's jobs depend on that, their alliance and allegiance and loyalty to Bungie is just going to disappear.
Dude, it's fucking started already. Look at all the PvP dudes. They're all playing Fortnite now, right?
Look at Fortnite.
Like, I mean, admittedly, like that's not drawn me in, and I'm kind of surprised it hasn't, because that's really kind of where I want to go. But like, I mean, where my kind of mindset is geared towards that. It's just more casual and all that sort of stuff. But at the same time, I don't know. I mean, we're kind of in this position right now where they can get away with murder, or they at least probably thought they could, and this is just we're bringing it back. I mean, you look at Deej's tweet this morning, and I like Deej, like, don't get me wrong, but for the whole fucking we did the new raid lair, world's first, went to some group of people that I won't mention, but fucking congratulations Gathalion and Broman and all the other fucking big name people for coming second. Like, that is tone deaf as fuck. Like, Sloth show.
Wait,
Sloth show
what did he? What?
Go
what
and
did he do?
find the tweet, man.
The,
Go and
the,
find the tweet.
the official
He basically
Bungie
said-
account.
He basically said,
Deej and the official Bungie account have basically gone out and out and said, listen, team wobblers or whatever the hell that they call themselves, Broman, Goth, T-Rex, Chariona, you know, like
whoever. Yeah,
they have gone out and said, and I'm not calling out those particular individuals because it is not their fault. I'm aiming this at Bungie and Deej, is that they have basically said, congratulations to these dudes for coming second, but this pug Reddit team, sorry, we can't be bothered to find your details and give you the world's first that you deserve. Come on, Bungie.
I reckon they might have deleted it. I'm looking
through
their feed now. I can't see it.
I'll find it for you, Matt. Anyway.
Yeah,
What happened was like Cathalion, like, because I was watching Cathalion, because I know his team is solid, like a solid contender, and like I was watching like several streams, and I was like, he got it, he's gonna get world's first. So it was sort of surprising to hear that a non-streamer team won, and it's that the Bungie studio was watching Cathalion. If you're looking at Andrew Hopp's tweets, like I was looking at his tweets as I'm watching Cathalion, and they're going like even the studio was saying, Goth has it, he's got it, this is it, they did it. And it was only until they actually checked that they found out, oh, someone actually got it 7 minutes before them. They just weren't streamers. And the official Bungie account tweeted them out, but I don't think they had an associated clan, so they couldn't be like, clan whatever did the thing. There were just 6 people that they didn't know. But Deej's personal account, and I understand he is the community manager and he does tweet on that account, but it is still his account. He was congratulating the people he was watching, and I don't think that's wrong.
Yeah, right. When you look at it in that context, I can fucking see like it's probably poorly timed. With respect to like, especially how sensitive people are about like, I mean, the community's on it's Tinder at the moment, man. It takes nothing to set it off, right? It is just fucking absolute fuel, and it takes a spark. I know, I've been there. It was ugly, but like, it's
this is my issue with that, and I've had to let it go because it's making me fucking just bitter, angry, and depressed with favorites with Bungie. And like, let's look at like Curse of Osiris. The people that get invited to Bungie Studios, the same people that always get invited. That list's never been updated. Their numbers don't even, some of them not even playing Destiny. Some didn't even make a video from that promotion. And Activision pay for their flights to go over there, including people from Oz. And I didn't get any consideration for going over there, even though that my channel solely focuses on the story of that. And it pisses me off because Bungie is meant to manage a community, and people have become bigger in the community than the originals, whoever got paid that attention in the first place. And it doesn't matter how fucking hard you work at something, you won't be acknowledged because there is favorites in that. And it's bullshit, because if you're an upcoming YouTuber, you have no chance to compete with people who get to play the content a month before it's released. And they can have everything fucking lined up for when it's gone. They can have their scripts ready. They can have everything ready. When the embargo lifts, they're first out the gate. And that really fucking pisses me off, because I'm scraping to try get content out and working my ass off, not doing YouTube full time, working multiple jobs to try to at least compete with the big boys, and doing it very successfully, but no one ever chucks you a bone. And seeing that again from Deej fucking gets me angry.
It does. It really, and I mean, this is probably the first time we've ever like openly discussed it in the podcast. But that kind of shit,
so.
it's borderline. It's not nepotism, but it is. Especially when so many of the fucking like, and I'm not talking about Goth or Broman here, because I honestly believe, like, I had a brief tweet conversation with Goth last week. For him, where our community is right now is a genuinely fucking painful thing, I believe. Like, he referred to it as like watching a child spiral and being unable to stop it, right? I mean, it's an uncomfortable position for him to be in. But the other people, like the PvP dudes who are like, you know, like, oh, fuck this game's fucking shit, Destiny 2's garbage, and then they fuck off for 2 months, go play something else and come back, and I can guarantee you they'll be the first people on the contact list. Oh, we need to win them back over.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, there's people like me and Beer that are fucking pumping out content, and we're you know, with the exception of the podcast, because I think this is a good place for me to rage, but everything that goes on the Mylan Games under that brand is always, for the most part, very positive. And the amount of people that come through there like, oh, you know, the lore, you've really got me back on this. I'm actually excited for this and that. And it just like nothing. And that's why that community will crumble, because like, you know, and that's why for me, that was part of my reason taking a break. Like, I got to stop taking this so seriously, because it's like fucking politics that you can never win.
It is, dude. It is, dude.
All right.
Anyway.
All right.
I just
Ceasefire, stop there.
Anon, and then we'll move on.
Hang on.
And then Anon gets final say.
Yeah. Ceasefire, stop there. Anon, we'll finish on your point, and then we'll move away from this
cool.
ball of negativity, and we'll try and get into the positives about Curse of Osiris.
I just want to say, and like, I am so much against like just trying to make Activision the boogeyman and the negative in like these situations. I don't like how it's like there's a select 6 people that will always be chosen, that will always get flown out, and will always do this and always do that. But I do think it is important to realize they aren't thanking Bungie for getting flown out. They're thanking Activision for getting flown out. And I feel like that's one of the only places Activision is actually sort of pulling strings, where they're like, hey, we want these people to get exclusive access. And I feel like there's got to be designers who are like, that's what? Like, no. Like,
anyway,
good point, Matt.
Okay.
Like, I do agree. It sucks, but
yeah. It does, and I get where you're all coming from, Matt. I get why you're angry. Log, I understand your points as well. Anon, I get where you're coming from, but let's not lower ourselves to that standard of calling people out on social media and YouTube and Twitch and all that sort of thing. Let's just
classy,
get right
San
into
Diego.
it, guys. Let's just get straight into it. But ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, Curse of Osiris was released this week, and the raid lair, which I have not seen or anything like that, which is very, very exciting. But the Destiny 2 news. So before we get into that, Anon, what do you think? What do you think of Curse of Osiris as a whole, as the DLC, my man?
So I actually said this in a tweet the other day, because I just saw like another podcast asking this. I said, if I said I was disappointed, people would misunderstand me, because I am disappointed, but it's not a bad DLC. I just expected more from Bungie. Like, if there's a scale and like good is here, the DLC's here. Just I expected them to be a little bit higher than they were, and I feel like it's fine. It's not like you ruined anything. I'm not mad that you didn't get the where I expected, but I am going to hold it to you still. I'm not going to say, okay, well, this is what you give. I want that better next time. Like, I deserve that better. We deserve that better next time. And I really understand like prioritization of things. It's like, oh, we couldn't have this because we wanted that and stuff. Like, I get that, but at some point it just has to be. I'm sorry, get it done. Like, you have to give us the game that we deserve. And I know it's a matter of, I know they can do better, and it feels like when I know they can give me 90% and they're giving me 75%, and I'm like, why am I getting less here? Like, what's the actual reason? I just feel not disrespected, but I just feel a little slighted. Like, it's like, we deserve better. You can do better, and we deserve what you can do. Like, we've been here through the good and the bad, and like, give us some good. I know you can do it.
Absolutely. The DLC, and I'm sort of picking up what you're putting down. A lot of people have said this as well, especially around the traps, around Twitter and Twitch and all that sort of thing, that It's not perfect. It's
Yeah.
It's a step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
From where the base game is to where Age of Triumph was for D1, it's a step in the right direction as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Matt and Log, what are your thought processes on Curse of Osiris, story, characters, all that sort of good stuff?
So I think I think it was okay. I think the campaign was okay. I think with the story, there were so many possibilities, and Osiris really is a massive sort of player in the lore, and so there's some sort of disappointment that maybe they didn't have a bit more fun with that storyline. It was still okay. And, you know, there were definitely moments that, because my brother was with me, I was like, oh, Chris, did you get that? And he's like, he has never, my twin brother has never watched a lore video in his life, okay? Ever. He knows
love,
it's
right?
twin.
That's brotherly
Yeah,
love.
I have a twin. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
he knows that you're a YouTuber, right? Like, he knows.
Yeah.
He's just like, hey, you should come watch this. He's like, nah, fuck yeah, I'll go play sport, you nerd.
Yeah. No. Like, I used to be the sporty twin, and he used to be the nerdy twin. But he's like,
Oh, you were Sporty Spice?
yeah, I was sporty twin. He can't listen to it. It's weird for him. He can't listen to me speak on a video because he just finds it weird because he knows that's not only who I am, you know? Like, that's only a part of me, whatever. He finds it weird. So he'd never watch it. He'll ask me, like, you know, what are the Fallen doing? Or like, who's Clover Spray? Or what's Siva? And I'm like, Chris, you fucking hurt my soul, mate. You hurt my soul.
YouTube.com/Mylan Games. Go there. Don't speak to me until you come back.
Anyway, there were moments like when Osiris said "little light," and I was like, oh! And he's like, "What?"
Right there with you.
So they were cool, but like, you know, people were praising the boss battle, and I don't know. I don't think the boss battle was fucking amazing or anything like that. I mean, people just said it was better than Callus, but it's better than Goal, but
it wasn't absolutely incredible, but it
was epic.
It was epic.
It felt a bit canned, but it was epic, right? Like, it was felt a bit like... I
love the music of it. Yeah, it was good.
I think Sagira brought a really much needed sort of refreshment to the narrative.
Yes.
I think that was good.
I agree to that, but I wish that we also had our ghosts. Like, I don't like that it was like, okay, bye ghost, hello Sagira. Like, no, give us both.
Yeah,
I want bickering. I want two on my shoulder. I want them to fight.
Oh, it's all right. We've lost Matt momentarily, but he'll be back. Matt can hear us. His video's dropped out.
Oh, whoa, that stream's going nuts, yeah. Like,
whoa, hello.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, mate. We can hear you.
Okay, I can still hear you, but
this is just.
I think Skype closed down.
Yeah, no, here we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right.
All good.
So I think Sagira's good. I think the Infinite Forest was a massive letdown.
Thank you.
It didn't. I don't think it added anything, and there were so many parts you could run through. You could just I didn't think it added any enjoyment or gameplay, and I think it missed its mark for whatever it was trying to do. I don't think it hit it. It just felt like a corridor that spawned different enemies and different jumping blocks.
It was a speed bump between missions.
Yeah, I think it slowed down the narrative. I think it slowed down everything and didn't add anything to it. I think the Infinite Forest was not even worth them talking about in promotion-wise because I would have just left that. You mean if they didn't even speak about it, that wouldn't have been a thing. Imagine if I didn't talk about the Infinite Forest. That was just like any other strike mission, just running from A to B.
Yeah.
Did you guys get the impression?
It didn't have any real features to it.
Mm.
Did you guys get the impression that after the campaign, you could go back in there whenever you wanted?
I thought so.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think that's.
I was very upset when I couldn't go back to Past Mercury. Past Mercury was the most beautiful thing I've ever fucking seen in this game. And if I'm excluding raids, that was my favorite. Being there was my favorite part of Destiny, and I can't go back. Why can't I go back?
Yeah, I got the idea when they showed the streams, it was like a hub world. And they were like, on the left is the past, in the middle is the present, on the right is the future. And like that you could just, like
You
Mario
could steer
64.
it. You could go, I want to go back to the past and go back to past
I thought there would be like little conduct or whatever in the middle, like a train station, and I can just go whichever one I want.
Yeah. So I think that was a bit of a letdown. The only last thing I'll say about the Curse of Osiris is, did I miss the scannables? Were there scannables?
Yeah. The scannables have been removed.
There's no Grimoire or scannables.
No scannables in the Curse of Osiris.
Okay, and that, like, part of me is like, you know what? They had so much other shit to fix. But I also feel like screaming, you know what, Bungie? Like, lore's always on the bottom of your priority list. I wonder if your player base would be more engaged if they understood what the fuck was going on and were engaged in the characters and the narrative. Because guess what? Gamers like that shit. We like to shoot stuff, but if you can engage them and feel something, that you're doing something important, everything is put into context. And it's like, why is this always on the bottom of the list? Come on, like, you didn't do that with Halo, did you? You didn't do that with Halo. You had a story in Halo.
Man. Like, you look back to the Halo franchise and the amount of sort of expounding upon the universe that they did with books and all that sort of shit. And, we've been saying since basically this cast started, and I've had conversations with Sloth a hell of a lot earlier than that are like, why is there no, like, supplementary fucking stories set in this universe? Why can't I go and buy a fucking Destiny novel, man? Like, why is it, like, it's kind of like it's winding down the places you can get this content. And admittedly, like, you know what? I've fucking watched more of your videos since Destiny 2 has come out than I ever have, because it's harder to get, man. Like, you put the work into going and getting all the information and putting it into a concise packet. I don't fucking have any means of going and figuring out all this shit about fulminators and stuff. What the fuck? So, like, part of me is like, good. It makes it harder. There's a higher barrier for entry in doing what you do. But at the same time, like, that doesn't help people the general player invest in the story, right? Like, that's
I think
the
they
diehards find that.
I really do think, and look, I'm sorry for being so negative, guys, but I really do think they need a dramatic shift in how they tell stories in Destiny. I don't think the voiceovers in strikes add anything, because people are always shooting. I don't think when you have Zavala or Ikora or your ghost chime in, I think 80% of people don't hear what is said. And I think it goes in one ear and it comes out the other. So all of those little cool things I think to add there doesn't have anything. You never have to slow down to take in an environment and hear something over the top. And the cutscenes are probably the only thing that tell a narrative story that might engage some people. And after that, like, how do people discover the story in Destiny 2? A lore tab.
MylandGames.com.
like, comment, and subscribe.
I'll have that $50 after the podcast too for that plug. Anyway, I really enjoyed the campaign. There was a couple of sour notes, mainly like why Ikora could just turn up and fucking Nova bomb the entrance to the Infinite Forest and it worked. Like, what was that about? But for the most part, I mean, I played with Keg, just ran through it, had a good chat, concentrated on the story, and I enjoyed the game for what it was. The Infinite Forest, I'll echo your sentiments there with that, Matt, in that it felt like one of those things that, like, is a really technically impressive achievement to be able to make this space that kind of all interlocks together and does this and it's different every time, but it's kind of underwhelming from the player's end, right? Like, we don't give a shit.
But is it different every time? The pathing is a little bit different, but
that's the other thing. This is the other thing that I was thinking about, right? They're like, every time you go in there, it's different. Every time you go in there, it's different, but you can only go in there like 5 times.
Yeah. It's
you can go in there 3 times a week. Then you have to wait for the adventures to reset, and then you can go in there again.
I don't know.
Do you know if they didn't tell you it changed? if they didn't tell you it changed every time, I wouldn't know. Honestly,
I would assume that was the adventure. Like, that was the
that was
craft.
the path for that one, right?
Yeah. That's what I would have. And I feel like they made the Infinite Forest, and it's like, okay, I like the tile scheme. I think that's really neat. But why are you limiting yourself to Vex tiles? Like, why am I not getting Dreadnought tiles? Why am I not getting Cosmodrome tiles? Like, why aren't we seeing some of the places that aren't in game anymore? Just like make 5 Dreadnought tiles. So the veteran players are like, oh shit, this is a Dreadnought. Like, I know this place. Like, why is that not there?
You know what?
They could have done a lot more.
Because it's a simulation. Like, it was wide open. Wide open. It was like, when they said, we're going to do the Vex, that should have been like the green light to the story team. Do whatever the fuck you want. Because timey-wimey
go nuts.
bitches.
Break the
rules. Like, I think there was so much possible. And, there were some things in there that was so cool. Like, tell me if you noticed this, right? When you kill an enemy, do you notice what happens to their body?
Yep.
They fizzle out as a simulation. Like the exo. So they don't die like they normally would. They sort of.
They kind of.
Like Matrix. They
pixelate.
They pixelate. And I was like, my brother told me that for his non-law genius. He was like, oh, you notice that? I was like, oh, dude, that is really cool. And I wish there's always this massive
You just wish that level of detail was applied across the board, right?
I don't know. There's a gap between the player and the environment. You have like these amazing environments, but there's no way to interact with them. Like, it's like running through the most beautiful forest, but never stopping to smell any flowers. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just run through it. These amazing landscapes, and you just bolt from A to B. That's like the narrative of Destiny. Bolt to A to B while someone talks over the top. Whilst you run through some of the most amazing, probably environments in any video game ever.
I think that's a point worth touching on too. Is that the whole fucking DLC looks incredible, beyond probably even the base.
The art department has never failed me.
Yeah, no. I mean, if you were in Bungie and you were designing in-game assets in that respect, holy fuck, give yourself a pat on the back because I mean, past Mercury, the boss fight. I mean, even just Mercury itself, inside Mercury, fucking, oh god, like there's so much there. And I mean, our friend Jazz is having an absolute field day going through making some of the most impressive screenshots I've ever seen. So there's definitely upside to it. It's just that I'm with Anon. I really am in that. It was the 75%. It was this is pretty good, but not quite there. Like. Mm-hmm. Is it worth the rage that I've seen in the fucking Twitter sphere? No. Probably not. But at the same time, everyone has their own perspective of looking at it. But I think part of it was... Sorry, well-known...
No, I was just about to say, like, it's just a very well-known saying that opinions like arseholes. Everyone has one and most of them sting. And that is Twitter. That is Twitter in a nutshell when it comes... Twitter and Reddit in a nutshell when it comes to Destiny. And probably many other games, but I don't really... follow many other people outside of the Twitter sphere, outside of the Destiny sphere on Twitter. So, at the end of the day, we've said this once, we've said it again. We here on the DDU and all of our guests that we've had on, we try to keep things somewhat positive. And if it does come to a negative, rage about it and then have a discussion about it. Because if it's just unmitigated salt and rage, guess what? That gets fucking nowhere, and people just think that you're another anonymous arsehole crying out on the internet.
Anonymous pig.
Sorry, you knew that was a terrible use of the word of anonymous.
Seriously.
Anonymous.
Ouch.
Anonymous. No. Oh, ouch. Oh, my heart.
What do you think the anon stands for?
Oh, listen, I'm Australian, and it's 3
We lack
and
tact.
Alcohol.
I mean, we're all assholes. Who cares, right? Just move on. How do you guys? I mean, this is probably more a question for Anon and Matt. But how do you guys feel about the lore in terms of what's behind this DLC?
All right. Before these
a lot
two
of inconsistencies.
Before these two get their lore on, I found that the lore, from what I can remember from what Matt's video, Beard's videos, and what I can actually remember what was said about Osiris during vanilla D2 and D1, it filled some of the gaps, but definitely not all of them.
Mhm.
Oh, bye, Matt.
I'm Matt.
That's
I
how
got
he
this.
really didn't like the law, right?
It's
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
it was something that I don't think it definitely didn't fill the gaps. But yeah, Anon, what's your thought process on it, mate?
I don't know if you want to fix.
Go.
Yeah, I'm doing it, man. I'm on it. All over it.
So there were so many inconsistencies, and like when I was playing through the story, I was really happy. I was like, "This is cool. This is exciting. This is fresh," and it was all those things. And then when I started looking at it and thinking about it, and started just going back to it, like I was like, "That's not right. That doesn't make sense. That's not what we were told. That's not how it should work." Oh, he's back. So
Sorry, I just had a blue screen of death.
So we're just talking about the story now, Matt. So like one of the big things is and I'm gonna like bring up past Mercury as much as I can because that is my favorite thing ever in Destiny.
Every time I go there, every time you mention it, I think about it and I'm like, yeah, I want to go there and like run through the grass.
I gotta say this. Past Mercury was a place that existed, and then during the collapse, in days, and that's what we saw. In days, they came in and converted it to fucking slightly more yellow Mars. Like, when I saw what it was, and I saw that the Vex came in and destroyed it, I had an emotional connection to past Mercury, and I was pissed that the Vex came in and did that. And so that was amazing, but then in the skybox, the Traveler's there, which is not.
Wait, did I really?
Did I miss there?
Yeah, the Traveler's there.
Traveler's in the
Back
skybox.
right.
There you go.
Frame of during the collapse, while the Vex are seeding Mercury, the Traveler's hanging out, which is not right.
Hold on. So talk me through the time frame that you think's right.
As we were told in Destiny 1, the Vex converted Mercury within days during the collapse. Now in Destiny,
does it say after the collapse? Because I remember, is that the in-game thing, right? Is it in-game mention of it, or was it in the Grimoire card?
I think the Ghost reads that on like our first mission of Venus or something like that.
I remember them saying converted Mercury to like glass and clock or whatever in days, or converted Mercury to whatever world in days. But was it after immediately after the collapse?
Well, it said like during the collapse or something like that. The collapse, like
because I think that was quite grey when Mercury was sort of completely because don't the Vex researchers say like they weren't too sure when the Vex arrived and that kind of stuff.
Well, they were saying that it didn't make sense because that was on Venus. It didn't. The geography of Venus didn't make sense because the structures were there longer than they could have
before the Golden Age and stuff like that too, right?
Yeah, before the Golden Age, and they're like that's not possible.
Yeah, I get what you're saying though. I actually didn't even question it because when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, the Traveler like terraformed.
But so
Mercury, so like it's there and it's changed the landscape. That makes sense. Yeah. But I didn't really, because the other thing is it was meant to go to Io before the collapse too.
That's my point.
This is like a detective, like. But if you were at Mercury at 12:45, how did you get to Io before the collapse?
They're stringing the red lines on their fucking pinboard.
And
the Vex are here. Yes.
my old place. I had when the Rise of Iron came out, I had a wall of red lines like.
No one on the internet anywhere is
index
surprised to hear
cards
that
on the wall. That's how I used to do lore. I had chalkboard walls, and I would write Grimoire card titles, and I would circle and draw lines, and it was the best thing ever. But
using
exactly
the
that
NYPD method of lore.
The Traveler, no matter what the exact wording was, the collapse, Vex, and Mercury. Like, that's general time frame. So the Traveler went from Io to Earth, and that's what we're being told. But now we're seeing it general time frame of the collapse on Mercury. And if it was there on Mercury, why is it just fucking watching the Vex like do that? Why isn't it like, whoa, what the fuck? Get the hell out. Go away.
Yeah.
Like, why isn't it stop? Like, so it's just, it was like one of those like little nagging things. And
it's a simulation. Maybe the Vex just wanted it there for company.
Look,
I don't want to sort of spoil it, but I'm gonna kind of spoil it. Saint 14 is dead.
Oh,
No, he's not.
no, he's not.
he is
dead.
totally.
Nah, he's
Well,
not
no,
dead.
look.
He just went home. He's not dead. He just went home.
I agree with Anon, but I do think there's some rebuttals to it at this stage.
Can I say my
Until
little
we
bit?
get
And
the
this
quest.
is my understanding of it all, filtered through just watching Matt's YouTube channel, really. So, with the shotgun, doesn't it kind of lead into the fact that at some point we're going to have to meet him? So the one thing that you can absolutely write into it is that, or is that the perfect paradox, is that we never meet him, but we've been given a shotgun that we gave to him, even though we never met him. It just doesn't make fucking sense.
We get the shotgun from the Infinite Forge.
Yeah,
We make it.
we make
We-
it,
we
and then we give it to him, and he returns it. Is that right?
No. No,
That's what it says, Anon. Tell me your
that's not what it
interpretation.
says.
What does it say?
My interpretation of that card is that he's writing to
what it
Ikora. I don't know why. I just think it's Ikora in that card. But in any case, this is sort of like super nitpicky.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Saint 14 was killed by the Vex, and he was actually killed. They made a Vex mind just to kill him, and he was killed on the frame, on the construct of the Vex. Like, that's where his body should rest.
Yeah.
But in game, if you haven't seen it, people have been glitching in there now. He's not on it. He's just somewhere. He's just hanging out. And
Okay,
it bothers
so,
it bothers me that he's just randomly he's in the Infinite Forest, randomly sitting there or floating there.
Okay, look, this is how I interpret that. Because there's not that, like, mind there, like the husk of the mind, right?
I want it there.
I assume that when they were, because it took them centuries to make this machine, and we know that the Vex run these simulations to work out things. I assume that what they were running in that room was a simulation of Saint 14 to then make the machine.
So you think that's simulated Saint 14?
Well, I don't think we know yet. I probably suspect it's not, but I think that is a possibility at this stage.
Yeah. And then probably the biggest
I would like it to be more complex like that, but the massive spoilers in the Ishtar Collective database, there is a mission description, and it mentions Saint 14. It is from Curse of Osiris, and it says, "Go to Brother Vance and tell him about the fate of Saint 14."
I missed
which
that. Good guess.
It's called In the Darkness. I think there's two of them that mention Saint 14 that I can find. And I imagine when we get that quest line, which I think is the very last verse of the Infinite Forge, it's going to take us back to the dark future. We're going to go into that room. We'll see Saint 14, and the very last step quest will be return to Brother Vance, and it will say and tell him about the fate of Saint 14. So whatever is said in game there, hopefully will give us some information. But because it says the fate of Saint 14, I really would like it to be a simulation of Saint 14, but I think it's probably going to be him actually dead. In that.
Yeah.
No, does that make you kind of
'cause
bummed that they just wrote out this huge character in terms of the lore and without even him ever being on screen at all? Really?
I don't know.
Sounds
It's
great.
what it's close. It's closer, right? I'm like with Anon there. Like it's a little bit better. Like great. Like the Saint 14 cards we are actually seeing in game. Okay, so he talks about taking on the Vex and floating on the husk. It's not quite there, but like three or four
I want
cards.
to walk on the hull of a massive Hydra and see his body on. That's what I want. Like I want the Grimoire card in the game.
Exact representation of it.
I think the closest you're going to get to that, Anon, is to actually have Gamma Trap draw it, man. Honestly.
Hey, did you see Gamma Trap's drawing of Saint 14 doing that?
Dude.
I haven't, no.
So I got Gamma Trap to do two drawings. One with Saint 14 battling, which is the first part of the card, and the second part is to replicate him being dead and floating with the destroyed Vex. And he finishes it all. I published the video, and he goes, "Matt, did you spot the Easter egg?" And like, Gamma Trap, what did you do? And he's like, "Look at Saint 14's shoes." He's like, "I gave him Jordans." So if you look at the artwork I tweeted of Saint 14's body and look at his shoes, he's got Jordans on.
I just saw the tweet then.
I'm gonna fucking look at this.
Oh my!
Actually, I'll leave it till after. I'll leave it till after the podcast. But wow,
But
he's a dude. Gamma.
So then, what about the biggest like something I said recently was that the Destiny 2, the Curse of Osiris story feels like it was written by an unfamiliar team. Like it's not the people that gave us all of Destiny so far. It's sort of just like a new team that sort of came in and like got like a crash course, and they're like, "Here, run with this."
But it's not. It's that lady from Rise of Iron.
But it feels like, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We've been told again and again and again and again that the Vex cannot simulate us.
And then they do.
And then the very first cutscene, it's fucking flawless. Like, well, they got it now. They figured it out.
What you mean in the Vault of Glass?
Yeah, they were in the Vault of Glass, and people were saying, well, maybe they weren't simulating the Guardians. They were simulating the humans. They threw a fucking Nova Bomb.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that too. I mentioned that as well. Do you know what they need like? They need like the Doctor Who kind of writing where you have nutcases like us that analyze everything to the nth degree and like want it to all fit together. Do you know?
Mm-hmm.
Just a reminder: nutcases are like you two, not us. Because Logan.
And since you brought
I'm happy to
Doctor Who. I love Doctor Who. I do not want Doctor Who bullshit in Destiny. Destiny is not a time travel game. It is not.
Okay. No, but I'm talking about the writing. I'm talking about how things fit together.
Like how actually intricate writing. Yes, please.
Yes. Like the puzzle pieces here, do you know like when you've got like a puzzle piece and you think it sort of fits, but you keep jamming it in and you're like, oh yeah, it definitely fits, and it like fucking definitely doesn't fit. It's a little bit like that. Like we just want it to sort of fit together nicely and for it not to always contradict each other. Do you know?
Did you think like
thank you, Second Star, for fucking reminding me. Brother Vance.
Oh, that's fucking so annoying.
In Destiny 1, he goes, I used to be a warlock.
Yeah.
And we're like,
then it became something else.
So the Osiris cultists aren't guardians anymore. They renounced the light? Oh my god, that's so weird. That's so interesting. And now it's like, I thought I was a guardian once. Turns out I just got hurt in the head. Like, what the? Are you fucking kidding me?
Is that what he says?
He doesn't say it. He doesn't say it like that, but he says, I had an accident that resulted in my blindness that made me think I was also a guardian.
I wasn't. Okay, so like Osiris fanboy with Brother Vance.
That was weird,
man. It was a weird direction, don't you think?
Yeah.
Imagine
it from Osiris's perspective, where you go away and you're just trying to get work done, and you come back and there's like a cult about you. Like, does he even know about this shit, or is he just busy kicking ass and taking names?
He doesn't support it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's what they said, right?
Okay, so here it is exactly from the writings of Brother Vance. To be a guardian, how I longed for it. After a near-death experience in which I lost my eyesight, I even believed I had become a guardian, that the great Osiris had granted me my dearest wish. how young and foolish I was. Are you fucking kidding me?
Because the coolest thing about some of the stuff that Brother Vance used to say in D1, it was like, I used to be a guardian, I've become something more, and like I've ascended, and I had all this like myth around it that Osiris had ascended and done something different, and that's how he travels with the Vex network. And you have this like cult of Osiris like experimenting with, you know, we do have these powers, like maybe you can discover something else and be something else and become better, and then it's like, nope, just a fanboy. Just a fanboy.
Yeah, it's a weird fucking tack to take, right? Like, it's nearly cringeworthy, especially like after you finish the campaign and he's like just indie about like, why did you deserve to be able to talk to him? And it's like, fuck off. Just give me your ugly armor pieces and let me go, right?
Yeah. Hey, there's armor pieces.
Not when you're a Titan. When you're a Titan, they look like dog shit. Actually, the arms are all right. I don't know, the face that looks like a power socket.
Oh no, the hunter gear looks fucking pants just quietly. That's horrible.
And
that's fucking horrible.
Just so it's not shit on Bungie. Oh my god, you fucked up. Like goddamn.
We're not shitting on it. We're just discussing. We love it.
But I know. But just so it's not all the negative. Just to like they do intricate puzzle pieces. So one of my new favorites, and I do want to like shout out Blue Crew from Focus Fire, because we were talking about this and like I had the same thought, but like he brought it up. So just in general, well, I had one of the thoughts. He brought up this specific thought though. One of the things was from, I think it was from Destiny 1. Lord Shaxx has been seen talking to warlocks that cast no shadow. And I was like, ooh, what? That's so like, what's this about? Like, why don't they cast shadows? And he said how the projections of Osiris that we saw in the Infinite Forest, what if those were them? Like, they don't cast shadow because they're all light. Yeah. And then you go into the Conqueror 2, one of the Infinite Forge weapons, and it's an excerpt written from a letter written by Lord Shaxx to the speaker dated 3 years ago. And within it, he goes, I find the acataleptic belief that the darkness is incomprehensible to be pessimistic nihilism, and the opposite, the Assyrian position that the darkness must be understood to be misanthropic narcissism. But I will also take good ideas where I can get them, and Osiris's belief that the guardian minds and bodies can be sharpened as one sharpens a sword is a damn good idea. So it's sort of like, oh, so they do connect.
And hey, that other thing that someone reminded me about that was really cool.
The glowing thing.
Do you remember what they used to say about Osiris at Battle
Always
of...
in Radiance. Oh.
No, not that. At I want to say Six Fronts.
At Six Fronts.
Six Fronts.
That he appeared to everyone. I want to fight you on that, because Blue Crew brought that up too, and I was like, no, that's entire, because we were saying, do you think that could be when he was meeting with Marasov? Do you think he could have sent like one of the projections to Marasov, and that's why Eris couldn't look at him?
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, because he was like that. Okay. Yeah. And I was like, yes. And he's like, so why do you disagree with Six Fronts? And it's because people weren't seeing glowy fucking things that looked like Osiris. They were seeing Osiris in just many places. So in my opinion, it's just, it's the rumor mill. Like, his legend grew beyond what he was. They're like, oh my God, he was fucking everywhere. Like, I swear, he was over here and he was over there. And it's like, no, guys, I was over there.
Even Sagira says that. She says, what is it? Something about, you know, everyone has trouble living up to the expectations, and like
even Osiris,
even Osiris, like
yeah. His legend grew beyond what he was, and I think that's where it falls.
That one of the, you know, we haven't really spoken about what we really have enjoyed, and I really did. Actually, that was probably the part of the story that I did probably most enjoy, with this like Osiris projections talking to the. I thought that was like much closer to a really good storytelling, a really good like narrative through it with how Osiris interacted. I thought that was really clever and quite true to the lore and that kind of thing. But we haven't spoken about exotics, and I think the exotics are coming back, even though there's lots of old ones coming back. I think
I love it.
The exotics are feeling like when you get one now, you're like, hell yeah, I've got that one I've been chasing now. And I think there's a lot more carrots on sticks
Cool. Well, I mean, even
now
this
as a
morning,
hunter,
I mean, as much
can
as
just
they've
wait.
released Prometheus, whatever it is, the lens for fucking the Death Star ray. You can buy it from Xur now, so that what once was OP, if everyone has it, is no longer OP. That's fine. But Xur selling the standard sides. It's the first thing that I've gone yes and like bought without question and like been really excited to get from Xur. So, I mean, maybe that'll just peter out now until the next DLC. But it's good to see him actually selling something that people give a shit about, right?
That whole thing with the Prometheus lens, I audibly fucking was giggling at 3 o'clock this morning when the tweet went out from Luke Smith and the Bungie account. I woke up my girls, Dad, what the fuck are you doing? Because I'm sitting outside with a cigarette in my mouth, just losing my shit at this tweet.
What was the tweet?
The tweet was, and you bet we wouldn't do it. And then it showed Xur with his inventory and it had the Prometheus lens.
I was in Crucible when Xur dropped, and so like it went from one game where it was like usually one guy in every game had the lens, and then the next game it was everyone but me, and I was confused. I was like, what happened? And like I go on Twitter and I knew something happened, and I go on Twitter and I saw what it was, and I like immediately I made that meme of Homer looking over his shoulder angrily in the bar, and I just put lenses on all the faces because that's exactly how I fucking was in Cruise. I was like, what? Oh this isn't fun anymore. Why does everyone have it? And then I got it. It was fun again.
Do you know what? I think that's what I think. Destiny 2 started off. I feel like Bungie took themselves too seriously with like balancing, and I feel like now that you get like, I know people are up in arms about Prometheus lens, but I feel like some of that silliness just brings a lot of fun back to the game. Like, yeah, it's gonna be buff, but you know what? Like, this happened in D1, and people reflect back on it actually with pretty funny moments. Like, do you remember when it was laser tag and Trials of
yeah,
the
this will be
Nine?
one of those community moments. Because it was only a week.
It's like, it's
Trials of the Death Star.
I think it's pretty funny. I know people that take their PvP like seriously isn't going to be like that, but now that like the exotics that are coming back to being just more unique and exotic. Like I've got the grenade launcher that shoots spiders. It's
really
that is the most frustrating fucking thing ever. I hate you for having it, and I hate everyone who uses it. I watch the grenade like go by me, and I'm like, haha, you missed, and then I explode.
Yeah, and but that makes you want that gun, Adam. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. You get killed by something enough, and it's cool, and it looks cool, and it's stupid broken. And you're like, I want that, and that's like that part that gets you like grinding for exotics again.
I want that gun out of the game.
I did a strike with Etsy last night, and he was using it, and we were just giggling about it the whole time. Look at it go! Oh, there it is.
Oh, it's gone.
Boom.
It's awful.
The thing that really sort of made me laugh about the Prometheus lens is that some people tried to make the argument they cancelled trial because of a map glitch. They cancelled trials because you could emote through a wall, but they won't cancel trials because of an overpowered weapon. You're kind of comparing apples to fucking spiders there, boss.
Well, now we know the reason that they didn't, because Xur was going to fucking sell it. Like that's why they had to announce they were cancelling trials.
Oh, mate! Even if he didn't sell it, I would have been fairly shocked to see that changed, see that cancelled. But anyway.
It was just like the ultimate lose situation. Like they cancel trial, people would be upset. That'd be like a whole month in the 3 months that Destiny has been out. A month of it was of canceled trials. Like they can't keep canceling it, and I feel like they made the best decision because now everyone like people. I hear people all the time saying like, "Oh, I never got the Vex until after it was nerfed. I never got Hawkmoon until after it was nerfed," and shit like that. Now everyone has the lens. Before it was nerfed, everyone's going nuts with it. It's fucking chaos and it's fun, and like I'm loving it personally.
Yeah.
And if you're not, that's fine. I am.
I agree.
They've made the best of a shitty situation, and like you said, Matt, they've taken themselves less seriously, and they've just gone have a weekend of Death Star laser tag. Why not?
It was the
Just come
simplest
into
solution,
agree.
right?
If you don't like it, come into
I think it was the best solution. Easy, the best solution by far.
There we go.
And you know, like I said, like you're trying to compare apples to spiders when it comes to cancelling because of glitches. Because yes, it is. It's like it needs an adjustment. There's no if, buts, or maybes about it. It needs an adjustment. But to cancel trials because a weapon is being used,
I think it's
come on now.
Like I can understand why it probably should
Should
have
have
been.
cancelled it week 2 with Mida.
Yeah, right.
That's what you're
Yes,
asking,
you
right?
I mean, like it's the same thing as saying, oh, like I got my ass kicked last week by the last Hope and Mida on the last 2 cards of the games that I was playing with some friends of mine. You know, like get rid of cancel trials because the fucking last Hope is OP. No.
Yeah, no,
No,
I like
but-
both. Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
It's 6
I
to 1
think
after another. It's it's
I
the same
think-
and different.
I think Destiny 2 and Bungie have like had, you know, I think they went really strong. Like, all right, let's see if we can make a fun, balanced mode. And I hope they're just gone, you know what? I don't think for this genre, when you've got PvE and PvP, unless we do something completely different and separate those entities, that it's possible, because one's always impacting the other. If we make this incredibly fun, exotic that everyone wants to get, it's always stupidly overpowered in PvP or vice versa. And it's like, yeah, but that's what... When you get killed by something enough, like that's why you want to get it. That's why Anon hates like that just built banter between me and Anon because he hates me because I got this fucking grenade launcher that shoots spiders. But now he wants to get it, and once he gets it, then he's going to be trolling and teabagging and dancing on everyone's graves when he shoots spiders from his cannon. You know, like you sort of miss that when everything's completely balanced and it's just sweaty.
It just becomes
sweaty.
right?
Anyway.
And just to sort of validate our point, or not validate, but just to not combat, but address a point that's been brought up in chat is they test the She's a Devastator has said they test these weapons, they should know what's OP. But you look at it, you look at the history of Bungie with the Destiny series. They've introduced a weapon. It's always more than likely going to be OP, because they can test it in a closed sandbox, but until you put it in an open arena in the entirety of the servers and the entirety of the game, you don't know what it's going to break. You don't know what it's going to do. The game itself, Destiny itself, is something that has never been done before. There is so many working parts to it that you just don't, I'm going to say that I don't understand, because I'm as thick as 2 short planks. But there's a lot of things that you really need to remember, that the game.
Yeah, I know.
You can test as much as you want in a closed arena, but as soon as it hits the open servers, guess what? You know, you just Anyway.
All right, what we might do, we might start wrapping it up, because we were going to go for an hour and we've gone for an hour and a half anyway, because fuck, we like value for our listeners. I mean, it might have been an hour and a half of more salty flavours than normal, but, you know, fuck it. We've got some shit to get off our chest too, I think. So what's everyone's plan for the coming week? We'll try and wind down on that, right? Anon, what are you doing? You got anything planned? Is there any lore theories that you might be kicking around in that melon of yours, or what are you working on? All right, Matt.
The lore is just so focused. It's so focused on the Vex. It's just, you know, it's even more focused than the vanilla D2 was. I'm just waiting for API to update so I can see. Oh, Matt, by the way, Feltrock, Nor, and Sekris are back. They're on the raid layer armor.
Oh, the one that they took off the
the original Prestige armor that got like redone. Yeah. It's now their raid layer armor. So I'm essentially just waiting for that so I can read that, get that in, because it's Vex, Trials, raid, and like that's all you get.
Yeah,
you don't.
Kind of
it's not like
either.
It's not like everything and then more
I
everything.
agree.
It's these 3 branches, and
I agree.
Yeah,
you'll find something to keep you busy. I'm sure of it.
What are you doing, Matt? Once I finish and I return back to my humble office in Perth, I will be looking. Well, Sunday. Okay, so after quitting streaming, 15 hours a week, one of the promises was still to just like connect with audience from YouTube and Twitch at least once a week, and aiming for a Sunday night in Australia, which will be Sunday morning, because I know a big portion of my audience is often quite late at night for them when I stream. So me and Danny are going to be on stream Sunday night, and we won't be playing Destiny. Danny loves Zelda, and she doesn't have the new DLCs out, so I think when I get home I'll download that. So you'll probably see a very happy Danny playing some Zelda. She fucking loves Zelda.
Happy Danny!
So yeah, we're just gonna chill out. We're gonna chill out on Sunday night, which will be Sunday morning US. If you want to come and join the stream, and I'll be looking for more lore topics. I've got a couple things in mind I want to make lore videos about, and that's about it.
Log, what are you up to this week, boss?
Mate,
now that you've released the
the magnum opus.
The magnum opus of Trials sung in the tone and the tune of Frozen, which is absolutely amazing. So make sure you go and check that out. YouTube.com/logpowerslave. It is a decently fucking really good video.
Does that link work? I mean, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That video, honestly, it's been weighing down my life for like a month because I've been working on it, and then I get distracted, and then there's new DLC, and I thought, fuck it, I just got to bite the bullet and do it. So I'm glad I've got it done. I'm glad it's out there, and I hope everyone gets a laugh out of it because that's really all I'm about. Slothy, what are you doing streaming wise? When can we expect to
this
see
week?
Your face
I'm going to be. This week I'm going to be. So the late start thing is still going to be a thing. I'm still helping out a friend of mine with her front page duties and all that sort of thing. So it's still going to be a late start thing, but I will be trying to complete Horizon Zero Dawn this week, aiming to do a lot more Bloodborne, do this raid lair thing at least a few times on both consoles. All right, you peanuts. So that'd be about it, to BH. So
Righto.
Be good.
Well, we might close down on that. Thank you, Anon, for coming. It's been wonderful to have you here again. We'll have to do it more often. I know I give you a lot of shit on Twitter about like fucking we never having you back and stuff, but it's bullshit. It's good. It's been good to get you back in, and we probably need to do maybe every now and then some more lore-focused episodes because, I think they're good. I think it's good. I think it's we can definitely make something our own then. Like, it's just a good open conversation about it all. Thanks for coming.
Before I forget though, Matt, did you watch the Raid Lair at all?
No, haven't seen it.
Okay, well when you get into it, talk to me about the boss because I want to hear your thoughts on him.
Okay, so I do.
I'll just say that. I'm just saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Like, before I forget.
Okay.
He's just left him with the biggest fucking hook, right? Hey, Matt, go and enjoy your weekend, but there's something really fucking interesting you're missing out on, man. Now you've been falling behind the game. It's been an absolute pleasure, as always. Slothy, thank you, man. All right, I'll wind it up. We're going to go visit Miss Team KK, so we'll jump in there, make some fucking noise and chat, say g'day a lot, do all that sort of stuff. And we will see you same time next week. I think this week coming up, we've got Swain on from Crucible Radio. So, I don't know, we might actually talk guns, yeah? Right? We might talk guns on the DDU, which is something that we don't do all that much, eh? Anyway, something to look forward to, and we'll see you then. Matthew, if you want to do your creepy thing, as per always.
It's very hard for lore to find you, but the little bits will.
Fuck. Oh, God. I quit.
Is that what he calls it?
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.